today's video will be a little more different. I want to do a little bit of rapping about the current state of Five Nights at Freddy's as me recording this video, and how it feels really stale right now without any new meaningful content to come out. Well, yes, the books do give us some lore. These are just, just little things I have to talk about because frankly, I love Five Nights at Freddy's. I love making videos for Five Nights at Freddy's. I love the games. But right now, we feel like we're in a desert when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's content. And these last 5 months have felt so slow. So I'm going to cover what has come out these last 5 months, what's for the future, and what is next for the franchise. So the most recent thing I can remember of this last 5 months was the DVD, which is not really new because it's just the FNAF 2 movie released on DVD. Now, we did get a book in April, I believe, very early April. It's not anything new, but it's called the Tales from the Pizzaplex Graphic Novel Volume 2. So this was supposed to come out a lot earlier, but they had to delay it because, Secret of the Mimic came out and they wanted to change the art. So I read it and I was really surprised. I really did enjoy this book, especially the Mimic part. This is the part I care about the most. I love the art especially. And, I love how they incorporate a lot of the game aspects, the designs. And so I really did enjoy this book. This was a great read for me. And I recommend anyone picking this up as well. And so that's just a little preview of the book right there. But yeah, I did really enjoy this read right here. And so, one of the few things to come out the last 5 months that was something new. Well, yes, the book stories aren't new in here. This is new art, a new book, and a book that people were hyped about, considering, Secret Mimic was a pretty hyped game. So, I did really enjoy this one. So, let's talk about Secret of the Mimic VR. Now, I don't have a VR set, and I haven't touched the game since I don't have a VR set, but from what I've heard, it's really not good for Secret Mimic VR. And you might be wondering, well, the game is made for VR, and yeah, it is. But the problem was that the game was rushed and outsourced to a completely different company, which always shocked me when I first heard about that because, Steelwool can make a good VR game, and they have in the past with Hellblunter 1 and 2. And so I was very shocked when I heard that, Secret of the Mimic VR was actually outsourced to another company. And, why would they do that? I mean, Secret of the Mimic is their big game, one of the biggest games, right next to Security Breach. And so, I just felt like that game was just wasted potential from what I've saw. But, a lot of people did enjoy the VR, but, there's bugs and, lazy textures, and it felt like it didn't have that quality control to it. And like I mentioned, it was rushed as well. So the build wasn't I believe from what I've saw, it wasn't play tested until like a month, or not a month, but a week before the game was supposed to come out. And mind you, people waited 10 plus months, to play this game because people really want to see this game in VR. And so it definitely has some good moments, but then the game is just ruined by these lazy textures and, bugs and glitches. And, a lot of people were expecting new things for the Secret Mimic VR. I really didn't. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, it's just a VR port. So, just making the game functional as a VR port, is mainly their main goal at the end of the day, not add anything new. But from what I saw, yeah, people are very disappointed and very angry. And so that, and the next thing I'm going to be talking about is the reason why I feel like there's a lack of quality control in the series right now. Five Nights at Freddy's Movie 2 novel. And so this came out a while after the second movie came out. And so, the first movie had its novel, so, obviously the second one had to have theirs. But this book right here is the worst FNAF book ever. I did a whole review on this book, and to basically sum up that video, it's the worst FNAF book I've ever read. You take the bad writing of the second movie, you ruin the characters, and you have some really poor grammatical and a lot of errors in that book. In addition, they got very lazy with this book, especially with the photos just being photos you can find on the internet. And so I was very disappointed in the book. I didn't care for it at all, and so that's just my quick review of the novel. Worst FNAF book in my opinion, worse than the Ultimate Guide and the Character Encyclopedia. You know, and I feel like after reading that book, I felt like the series had hit a new low, and it feels honestly like betrayal. Like, it feels like betrayal because, you know, for a while I used to believe that Scott would, you know, had a hand in everything that would come out FNAF, but, you know, with this and Secret Mimic VR, it just felt like that this series just feels like it's just made for money. And so let's talk about the future for FNAF a little bit. So for the future, as of now, we know a couple of things. So in September 2nd, we're supposed to get Tiger Rock, the Tales from the Pizzaplex Volume 3 in September. I know we're supposed to get the FNAF 2 movie arts book in November, and then we're having the Character Encyclopedia updated in December. So those are all the books that are coming out soon. And so our game that's supposed to be coming out this year is 5 Laps at Freddy's, but we haven't heard anything about it. We don't know when it's gonna come out. As of me recording this video, it'll be 6 months into 2026, and we still haven't heard anything about our new game. And if you remember last year, Secret of the Mimic came out in July, but even that game didn't get a lot of, you know, marketing for that game. I mean, Markiplier didn't even know the damn game even came out in the first place. So there's just right now, it's a lot of uncertainty for me, especially as a FNAF content creator, because we don't know what's next. I don't know what's next. I mean, we know the FNAF 3 movie is coming out, but we don't know when. We don't know when our big FNAF game's coming out. And so, and especially now, after we just waited, like, you know, 5 months has passed, and we had nothing. I mean, yeah, the books, like the Tales from Pizzaplex Volume 2 was great, but other than that, the other two things that we got, the movie novel and Secret of the Mimic VR, were just cash grabs, honestly. It just felt lazy more than anything. I think lazy is a better word. And with the lack of quality as well. The only thing I enjoyed was that, like I said, the Tales from Pizzaplex, but, you know, it just feels like we're so content dry, even now, because imagine if we get nothing over the summer, right? No new updates, no new announcements, we got nothing, right? Our next piece of FNAF, you know, anything, is coming out in September, which is around 3 or 4 months from me recording this video. So if we don't hear anything over the summer, we're basically gonna have nothing for a while. And so the reason why I kind of talking about this content dry is because, you know, usually I mean, compared to like the last, not wouldn't say the last 5 months, but you know, before, you know, I believe from June to December of last year, we had so much content come out. We had Dead by Daylight collab, Secret of the Mimic, then we had Halloween Horror Nights, and then we had the Freddy Fanta, and then we had the Popeyes meal, and then we had the FNAF 2 movie, and then we had the Ultimate Guide 2.0. And during that time before the movie came out, you know, there's a lot of hype for it. So that hype definitely, you know, helped motivate the movie and the community a lot more. But then ever since then, we just haven't had anything. And, you know, it feels like, you know, Scott has gone quiet on us. And so I'm just very disappointed right now because the things we got were bad, and, you know, Scott refuses to elaborate on what secret party is or any of the lore, like what the box is. And so it feels like we're kind of betrayed right now. We're kind of at a dead end, a desert. So hopefully these next couple months we get something like an announcement for 5 Laps at Freddy's. I know a lot of people are excited for it, so am I. But, you know, I did a community poll, and 33% of people are not like really hyped for this new game. So, you know, I'm just very concerned right now for the future of FNAF. But, and then, you know, having slow times is okay. You know, games will have their slow periods where there's little to no updates. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But with the lack of communication and, you know, barely, you know, anything changing or, you know, not anything being resolved when it comes to lore-wise, it feels like we're in a stalemate right now. So I wanted to do this little yap video just, you know, to get something off my chest. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.